Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Uh, Today's webinar is around Autodesk FormIt for using it for conceptual design and how we take up that conceptual design for detailing into a BIM software and then, produce construction documents out of it. So before starting with the webinar, I would like to introduce our company. So we are Capricorn Technologies, and we are since 1987, and we are 20 plus. We have 20 plus. We are serving 20,000 plus Indian customers, and we have now grown into another company called WinZero. And WinZero is our global alliance where companies Capricorn from India. US CAD from US, CAD line from UK, and A2K from Australia has merged together. Now we are serving internationally. So in India, we have offices in Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, Hyderabad, and various other cities. And we are OEM certified, a reseller for AEC software products, and also we have BIM professional teams in our office. After Capricorn introduction, I would like to, introduce Miss Kanchan. She's from Ethos, and she'll be, introducing you about Design Advance competition. Over to you, Miss Kanchan.
Can I share my screen now?
Yeah, sure. You can share your screen.
Hi, everyone. I hope you can all see my screen. Yes, so I'll be introducing Design Advance to you. Design Advance is a competition that is open to registrations now, and it will be open till October 20th, and the submission deadline will be October 27th. So the theme this year for the competition is reimagining railway stations as urban nodes. What we usually know railway stations for is for their main function, which is to take us from point A to point B. Like you get on to a train, travel, and get off at another station. But what if beyond the usual basic features such as basic amenities, what if they could become public places that a city, that particular city could be proud of? What if they become spaces that people could come to, where they could work, or they could come to learn or play or heal or connect with each other? Moving on, we have to reimagine railway stations in X, Y, and Z cities, which are basically tier 1, 2, 3, 4 cities. Now the nomenclature has evolved a bit. So we have to reimagine the railway stations in our cities beyond being just transit hubs and more as nodes of urban activity. Because there is so much footfall and so much coming and going involved of all kinds of people from all different places throughout India, we have an opportunity to transform them into something that could just elevate the city into something that we have never seen before. So we fill in the gaps in the town's life with facilities such as education or healthcare, or workspaces, hotels, leisure and entertainment related services, commercial developments, etc. For education, maybe we could imagine something like a night school happening there, or maybe even a regular school or college or libraries happening there. For healthcare, we could have full-fledged clinics or even hospitals that could work in conjunction with maybe facilities like the Smile Train or the Lifeline Express, which used to run a few years ago. We could have office workspaces in the same compound as the station building. We could have hotels and leisure and entertainment related activities, commercial developments. Some places already do have something related to it, but maybe it could be done on a bigger scale. And finally, we have to focus on improving the user experience. Usually what we experience at railway stations is many times not very pleasant, but we kind of focus on improving the user experience by improving the wayfinding features and the entry and exit points. And when we lay over at a railway station, what do we do? What kind of activities one can engage themselves in? And also on the placemaking of the station itself as a center or a node in a city. Now, how do we enhance the user's experience? That we discussed that we could make wayfinding easy for them, the entry exit points and all of that. But we also have to think about how we can influence the user behavior in such public spaces. How can we influence them to behave in a certain manner, such as maintaining good hygiene and not throwing trash everywhere, or making a place safe for everyone and accessible for everyone? What are the different user groups that will be using a certain space, and what could be their choices and preferences and needs? As far as the building's identity is concerned, we should try to encourage and adopt the local cultural heritage and the architectural identity of the place. Some places have a really strong cultural identity associated with our buildings. Maybe we could imbibe and embrace that. Then you have to always make sustainable choices, because sustainability is not a concept or like an add-on, but it's a must for us these days. And these could be included in the project through walkability and net zero cycles for energy and water, efficient management of waste, etc. Also, with this competition, you are allowed to define your own program and functions, such as what kind of activities you want to include. You could have only the hospital in conjunction with the railway station, or maybe a mix of everything at one place. That kind of cements it as the go-to center for the residents of that city. The spaces should be accessible and inclusive. No one should feel like there is a barrier to them, or they are not able to reach certain spaces. How do you select your site? Now, to select your site, you can either take up a railway station site in any of the XYZ cities according to the RLDA scheme, which is on the RLDA's website. There are about 140 plus sites all over India where the RLDA is working on making new stations which are looking towards the future. While picking your site, you should adhere to the following parameters. The site area should be between 1 to 4 acres. You should follow locally applicable bylaws, or if there are no locally applicable bylaws, you should refer to the National Building Code. And you should refer to the manual for standards and specifications of railway stations while designing the railway station part of it. Now, for some frequently asked questions, is there any registration fee involved for the competition and workshops? No, there is no registration fee at all. It is completely free. Can postgraduate students take part? Yes, postgraduate students as well as undergraduate students can take part, who are enrolled in courses in architecture, design, or civil engineering. Can the team members be from different colleges? Yes. Inter-college teams, inter-batch teams are also allowed, and even interdisciplinary teams are also allowed, such as at least one architecture student and the other two are from different fields as mentioned before, either from design or civil engineering. They are allowed. Can we define your area program? Yes, we encourage you to develop your own area program according to the needs of the site that you've chosen. In absence of local bylaws, which standards should we use? Like I said, National Building Code is to be followed in absence of locally applicable bylaws and site regulations. When will the workshops be announced? You will be notified via email after registration. So all the registrants receive an email whenever a new workshop is going to happen. So you should register now. And can you choose a site on your own? You can either choose one from the RLDA list, which is linked in the competition brief, or if you're choosing another site on your own, for example, if you want to take a railway station site that is in your own city, but not on the RLDA list, you can do so, but you will have to justify your choice. Are there any more free workshops or design lectures coming up? Yes, they'll keep happening till the competition is concluded. So register and stay tuned. The competition is open to all undergraduate, postgraduate students of architecture, planning, civil engineering, and design across the country, including those graduating in 2023. So in case you've already submitted your thesis and you're graduating this year or have already graduated this year, you can still participate in the competition. Maximum 3 members in a team are allowed. Here are the deadlines. The registration is open till 20th of October and the submissions are open until 27th of October. For more details, you can visit www.designaddvance.in. I will also take some questions if anyone has any questions. Otherwise, we can move on.
So if anybody has any questions related to the competition, any queries who want to join this competition, they may ask Ms. Kanchan about it. You may write down your questions in Q&A box. In question and answer box, you can write down your questions. So I see no questions are coming up. I believe people will be interested more after the workshop. So no issues. You can send your questions later as well. Ms. Kanchan will also reply there.
I think we received some questions.
One question.
Yeah,
one question we just received.
Is there a prize money? Yes, there is a prize money. The first prize winner will be awarded 75,000 rupees. The second prize winner will be awarded 50,000 rupees and third prize winner will be awarded 25,000 rupees. Apart from those, there are also awards which are not in cash, such as access to some software courses like BIM for design course. And the top 10 participants will also receive some discounts on courses. So you can go through the brief. I'll share the link in the chat and you can go through the brief after this session.
There are 2 more questions in Q&A box, ma'am. Can you please reply that also?
Yeah. So should we just renovate the existing railway station? You can do that. You can renovate the existing railway station, but don't forget to kind of add in the other functions that were mentioned. Can a professional join this competition? So if you are working, but you are going to be joining a PG course this year, you might be eligible. Otherwise, only undergraduate and postgraduate students and those who have graduated in 2023 will be eligible for the competition. Mihir Pawar has asked, 4-acre site is including the railway line, etc. Can you please elaborate? So 4-acre site is for the total built up area. The railway line extent is like whichever whatever part of it is in the railway station compound. you can consider. Otherwise, you don't need to extend it otherwise. I hope that answered your questions and queries.
Yeah, so most of the all questions are actually answered for now. If you have more questions related to the competition, you can also put your questions later as well, and
Yeah,
we'll
please
answer.
leave them in the Q&A.
Another question has come up: working professional from 2020 batch is allowed or not? That is the question, I believe.
Working professional from 2020 batch. So if you are enrolling in a PG course this year, like from 2023 onwards, you might be eligible. I'll request you to actually go through the brief, like the eligibility criteria. If you think you are going to start your PG course this year, you might be eligible. But only those who graduated in 2023 are eligible, and working professionals might not be eligible. So I'd like you to I like to request you to please check the eligibility criteria.
And you can also log on to designaddvance.com, right? And you
Yes.
can just maybe get details from there as well.
Yeah, it's www.designaddvance.in, and you
Okay.
can check out the full details there.
Sure. Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Kanchan. And now we may proceed with today's workshop. So considering giving solutions to the problems which ma'am has just addressed, we need to obviously provide solution in design terms. We can solve problems by giving a good design. And to start with a good design, you should have a good concept. And to have a good concept, you would have good tools to start with. And today's webinar is actually around creating a good conceptual design, good in terms of design as well, and also aesthetically appealing and also presentable. So for that, I'll just share my screen. Just a minute. So for this, I would like to invite Mr. Munish Sharma. He's an architect, and he is a BIM specialist at Capricorn also, and he is one of FormIt's expert. He's expert in FormIt and Revit and Dynamo as well. So he'll be taking this session mostly today, and I would like to introduce him now. And Munish sir, I think you can take the session forward. And
Yeah.
over
Okay,
to
thank
you,
you so
Munish sir.
much. Thank you so much.
Sure.
I'll just sharing my screen now. I request
Sure.
that I will now share my screen.
Yeah, sure. You can share your screen.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Today we are going to have a session for a mastering conceptual design, and definitely going to be have on our FormIt Pro. So I welcome you all. Hi, my name is Munit Kumar Sharma, and I'm a senior BIM solution specialist in AEC design, especially when we talk about an Autodesk. And with me for the demonstrations, we'll have Mr. Shoaib sir. He's also a BIM solution specialist. So he'll also going to be elaborate some of the very interesting features regarding a FormIt Pro. Before we are considering into a next slide, right? There are a lot of questions coming into mind that what is a format, right? And how it's going to be directly connected to the conceptual design. So for doing this, we have to reveal slide by slide so that you're going to be address all those queries which is coming right away in your mind, and how it's going to be help you out when you are designing any brief, or we are going to come with the any design requirements. So what is our agenda for this webinar? The first one, we are going to talk about an introduction. The second, we are going to talk about the workflows in between a FormIt and a Revit. The third, we are going to divide into a 3D section, 3D sketch and send to a Revit tools. And the fourth one, we are going to have a discussion on a FormIt and converting Revit families. See, all those part have been really included in the part of a conceptual design, right? You can't take a one schedule, you can't take it a one concept, you can't take it a one task. It's going to be multi-related with the each of the elements. So when we talk about an introductions, please be in clear your mind, whatever the queries you are having, please note it down. In the end of the session, we're definitely going to take that. Right. So a very brief introduction about FormIt. right? The FormIt is an annotative conceptual modeling tool. You can conceptualize, you can sketch, you can analyze, you can do a iterate inside early sketch designs, even though you can do your concepts on your tablets or probably on your desktops, right? Whatever the medium you wanted to go with your conceptual design, it can take any of your medium, right? When I say any of a medium, it means that it's related to your tools. It can be your desktop, it can be your tablets, right? A short history, if I'm going to proceed with this, see, it's been very clear when we are going to talk about a product, right? We need to know that when it's going to be have a brief part, how it's going to be come into the market, what is the significant role inside the market, and is it a new tool, or is it having some other tools are going to be collaborate. See, FormIt was a earlier launch for the iPad, especially for the architects, right, who have been really aggressive for making a sketch designs or probably making a conceptual models to go. From the very beginning, FormIt includes the location data. Now you can see on my screen that in an initial in 2012 iPad, there's a portal, sorry, iPad is a one of a technology we are having from where the FormIt have been launched, right? After stepping into a new years, right, like a 2013 2014 and goes on to 2022, even we are living in a 2023, still the version is coming 2024, right? So every year the FormIt have given a lot of changes and lot of design tools which helps an architect or the designer to cultivate their design into a proper manner. Like you can see in a 2014, it'll become with the iPad and web version. So to showing this screen, to showing this slide, my view is over here is FormIt is not a new product. It has been launched into 2012, almost 11 years, right? You can imagine that within 11 years, if the product has been into the hands of Autodesk, so you are going to imagine that how productivity is going to be retained with the stream, right? So it's going to be create all of the location data. It can create a Revit converter. Now it's going to be introduced with the Dynamo as well. You can do an energy analysis. You can do a design iterations, you can visualize the tools, and the real time of visualization has been so easy and so magnificent when you are going to make your designs. I'll showcase everything into the detail. Probably you're going to love that product and you're going to definitely use it for your design. So basically, who are the person who is going to utilize the FormIt? Especially, well, I said when in 2012, Autodesk have launched with the product. So they are meant with the one theme that the architect is going to be conceptualize the thing, right? From the initial period of our design. So the designer who is going to be come with the sketching environment, right? They can utilize this product in the ecosystem, right? When I say ecosystem, you can see on the bottom right of my screen, there's a favorable products in the Autodesk ecosystem where you can utilize all those things. Like we have a FormIt Pro, we having a Revit, we having Insight, we having InfraWorks, we having a 3ds Max, Dynamo, and the BIM 360. By the way, BIM 360 now it will be a ACC, Autodesk Cloud Collaboration. So all those ecosystems are going to be constrained with the FormIt. Since you know that when you are going to design any kind of a building, so you'll have to design through this conceptually. So the first product it comes to our life or our building life, it will be a FormIt. So the sketching environment takes into the FormIt. Then the second thing is informed design exploration. Now, what do you understand by this? It's see, we know that how our environment is going to be endangered, right, with a lot of things, right? So we have to cultivate some of the important step for doing it. So analysis plays an important role over here to compute your integrations, whatever the design you are going to be presenting for your client. This third one is a seamless integrations. Now, after COVID pandemic situation, we all get to know that it will be very difficult, right, to sit in the office and start the work. But earlier we were thinking that it will be difficult to sit in inside our home and do the work. Now the situation has been totally opposite. So we required have a transition in between a conceptual design for detailing and documentation. And documentation is only going to be possible if the several team of our members are going to be work enough through a different segregate of the departments. So in a FormIt 2022, right, we have a lot of things comes into our path. One is a FormIt has been available for many languages. The level transfer from a Revit to a FormIt can be possible. Dynamo integration with a, like you can say, a 2.12 update can become. Dynamo length inputs units can become. Since 2015 and in the 16, the Dynamo have been launched integrate with the FormIt, but they have introduced some of the tools right away for the length. Now you can do here animation plus video export. Today, if you're going to talk about in the detailed design, people are going to export the high quality of a renders or high quality of a video animations. But what if I want to into my conceptual design? In a conceptual design, somewhere around you can see on my screen, I want a video, right, for an animation so that I can impress my client or I can impress my stakeholders to get invested more amount of money into a technology so that I can give my 100% potential to my design, right? So animation and video has been possible inside a FormIt, even when you are into a conceptual design stage. So what are the things you are going to get over here? You'll get here advanced modeling. You'll get here environment analysis. You can get here a FormIt plus Revit integrations. You know Revit, right? So Revit is a far wonderful product. So it's going to be come with a FormIt with a whole bunch of BIM. Then FormIt Dynamo will have here Autodesk docs as well, right? So if you want to collaborate, if you wanted to iterate your designs while sitting at your home and do a lot of changes, even though if you wanted to meet the design changes at your senior level, so all those things being possible just at your desktops and at doorstep. So what is advanced modeling basically? You have encountered with a lot of things while doing a lot of a software practice, right? In the software practice, you might feel that there's a lot of things can be possible and cannot be possible. When I say cannot be possible, it doesn't mean that I want you to degrade that software. No, I mean to say that there's a lot of technologies we required for the externally. You can say a plugin based, right? Yes, you heard it very clear, that plugin. So sometime we require to specific tasks can be possible through your plugin based kind of a things. But over here, you can do a normal task, which you can available for the plugin can be automatically done into the basic tools. So I show you over here. Like for example, if you wanted to make here a circle or you wanted to make it a little bit of brush pull, right? So you can do it with a very additive and subtractive mode, right? You can see that how easy it's going to be restrained with the subjective or additive part, right? It can make a multiple press pull very quickly. It can do here a solid modelings like a 3D Max or like an Revit. It could be a more easy if you wanted to cover some of the shapes or if you wanted to make the some of the unusual surfaces. So it can be do very quickly, right? And the user interface of this reminds you like you are doing a conceptual modeling inside a Revit, right? So if you are going to talk about here a materials part, so material going to be make here a multiple segments. You can have a just a right click and you can do a normally tools are on your screen. Right, you can see the screen right now, right? Automatically, you can make here a press pull with a quicker, easy of a mouse movement. Even though if you're going to talk about here layers, if you're going to talk about here dimensions, if you're going to talk about like some unusual shapes by making a offset array, so that could be possible. Like one of the group you have created, now you wanted to make a multiple element through the array command, so you can do it. Mostly we have seen that some of the product have been really utilized and going to be hanged when it's going to be do with the array. But over here, it's going to be make you justify that the array can be possible very quickly, right? Since it will be a product of Autodesk, so you might feel that a array would be in a great extent mode. So when we talk about an extrude at a different angles, so it can be done, right? When we're going to cover a part of a shell, we wanted to create a shell thing, so it also going to be possible, right? There are a lot of things we are going to cover into a Boolean operations, editing, subtracting, union or intersect. So all things are going to be possible. When I say there's a Boolean operation, it means that when any software comes into a Boolean operation, it can do anything, right? So the Tarin thing. see, whenever we are going to understand about a terrain part, right, we have to comes into a one software or a one product, that is a Google Earth, right? In a Google Earth, we are going to take that all kind of a coordinates, but over here you just type your site and automatically you'll get to the terrain part. Even though for the best part you can do here for a conceptual, right? I can't say that it's going to be a more detail as you want in the detailed design, but yes, for initializing your sketching, initializing your conceptual design, the terrain requires a really important for making your design, right? So that input you can get it very easily while typing your site, and you can get here a terrain data very quickly, right? And I know that there are a lot of questions are going to be come over here, right? But I'll take that one after the slides. Okay, so then if I'm going to cover the part of a next thing, just a second. So you found that the terrain has been cleared enough. Now, if I'm going to cover the part of a FormIt plus in analysis, we called as insight analysis. You know, once you have going to given a data of wherever your site related to, right, it's going to be contentify through your InfraWorks as well, right? InfraWorks is a one of the software which is going to be really utilized for the construction field of a environment. Now over here, if you require a lot of a conceptualized model, depending upon the sites, like this is the one of a site which we have to conclude into a design, so you'll get here a normal kind of a blocks for the conceptual design. So all those blocks are going to be exported, and those blocks can help me while delivering my conceptual design, because I wanted to create my conceptual of my building, not the other side of the building. So for shortening of my time or the frame I wanted to work over here, so for that, I can import that 3D models, which has been related to over my site location. I can just import that model, and through a within a fraction of a time, I'll get here some reachable components, reachable blocks, right? So now I'll have here a proper thing so that I can imagine what kind of a different height for my site area, right? What is the design I can go accordingly if I see the other side of the building, and how the approachable of the road to other buildings as well. So this is what the InfraWorks can help you out, right? And especially if you are going to design in this area, it's going to be help you out for making, try to change your access accordingly. Because when you are working on a FormIt, you found that the building is going to be into orthographic projection. But when you are getting the site location, you'll automatically know that what is the area of, or sorry, what is the length, what is the angle, what is the bearing part, right? So probably this has been really helpful when you are talking about a conceptual design to get the other site model as well. So you don't need to create the environment before making an animation, before making a render. Or it removed the guessing work, it removed the Photoshop work, which we call as a post-processing. Now, environmental analysis. See, this is my favorite one, right? Why? Because environment is going to be created through a lot of input data. Whatever we provide a data, it's going to be responded to back, right, to us. Right. So what is the thing we can go over here is, once you receive the model, once you receive the site, right, you can generate your solar study, you can do a solar analysis, even though you can do a inside energy analysis. Well, I am not saying that it's going to be do a detailed analysis. Detailed analysis can be done into a Revit, but you can do a conceptual analysis for the energy. Now, once you satisfy with the site, the location, the time, the zone, right? So it can give you that data that this is what you are getting for the solar studies. This is what you are going to get a solar analysis, right? Once within a click, you can find that what is the heat range during the month, during the year. You need to select those panels. You need to select that surface area. From that surface area, you can able to know where the solar study, where the solar shadows are going to be portrayed to your surfaces, or probably you are going to get here a year cumulative analysis. Once you get here a run, right, you found that the energy optimization according to the heat gain for your surfaces came through very quickly, right? Even though if the analysis been satisfied, you can change a lot of different methods. You can do a lot of a design iteration over here so that it can be comes into a next level or next range, so that you can save that surfaces, you can save that space through the inside or exterior environment. Possibly, we'll have here one more module that is called as an insight. Through that insight, the model is going to be take it into your the portal, right, which gives you the energy benchmark, right, for the comparison. Now you can see on my screen there's a lot of good representative methods are being showcased to you. What can good for this building, and what are the design things you can change to this building makes you a good result, right? You can go according to the lighting efficiency, you can go with the window materials, you can go with the operating schedules, even though it's going to calculate a part of a load, right, and HVAC part. So every time you are going to get here a result from that cumulative in kind of a data. You are going to basically know about your site area, you know about the site the negative parts, you know about the site positive parts, right? To cumulative kind of a data, getting all those data into your back page, right, you'll get a good design, right? Even though on the back end, some software, some technologies are helping you that this is what we are getting from the data or whatever the input you have given. So probably if you are going to utilize those data, you're definitely going to come with the good designs. And nowadays I have seen that a lot of a person who have been doing for the competitions part, right, they are getting a good result. Why? Because they are using a technology, they are using that data which has been providable and accessible very easy through a softwares. So that's why you can increase the potential through the productivity and through the technologies wherever you can reach. Now I request to Shoaib sir, please comes to for this slide so that he can explain you for the FormIt plus Revit.
Okay, so Munit has, thank you so much. Munit has shown that FormIt can be used for conceptual design, and it's a free-flowing software. You can, create components out of sketches and can import that into Revit. Further, you can also, design your conceptual forms for buildings, and maybe for larger infrastructure projects such as this railway station. If someone has to, design a roof for a railway station, it's a wavy structure, it's an organic shape, then you can also obviously design that in conceptually you can develop a form in FormIt and can export that into Revit. So I'll just share my screen. So whatever is created in FormIt now can be translated to Revit as well. And Revit is a detailed design tool, and it is used for developing BIM models basically. So especially in India, Government of India has already mandated BIM in all infrastructure projects. So and railway station one of such categories. So wherever railway station, metro stations, airports are to be built in India, those are needs to be those projects needs to be delivered in BIM softwares basically, so that it can be used later for operation and maintenance, because BIM stores all the information in it. So Revit is that tool. So most of the design consultants are actually working on Revit, and whatever is created in FormIt, or for that matter in SketchUp also. So because even now many people still use SketchUp. So if anything is also created in SketchUp, it is compatible with FormIt as well. You can directly open SKP file in FormIt, and for that file can be directly imported to Revit. Although before 2016 version, I believe Revit was not very much compatible with SketchUp. So now through FormIt, you can also bring your SketchUp models, and also FormIt models can be brought here as well. So this is one example. So we have taken two examples, one for external facade project and one for interior project. So this is Revit's interface. Let me pause it. So this is the Revit's interface, and here you have this option under masking and site where you can push your model to FormIt. So conceptually, site context has been developed and it is now brought into FormIt. This is FormIt's interface now. So now after bringing in FormIt, a conceptual shape has been developed. multiple levels are added to it. So because obviously building would have, multiple floors, and level wise, you can, as you may notice on the right side in its properties, this is the FormIt interface. Here you may notice that level wise, it also calculates the area. It is in a square feet here, but you can also convert that into other units. It works in dynamic units. So you can also keep track of your FAR in that case, right? So once a conceptual mass is developed in FormIt, you can call it conceptual form or a mass, and then that mass can be again pushed back to Revit by using this option, and it'll take all the materials and all other properties of the FormIt as well, and now it is brought in back into Revit. So it is in Revit now. So once it is brought back into Revit, you may notice here further details are added to it in FormIt as well, and it can be further pushed to Revit. So either you can bring a conceptual model, and you can also detail the model entirely and can also convert that into Revit model. So many people are still, maybe learning Revit, and they might not be able to detail every component. So they may also take this path, although Revit is quite comprehensive software. It gives you all the options to develop any shape and form, but obviously practice is needed. So those who are not very much comfortable in Revit, especially when you'll be working for this design competition, you may also take help from the FormIt. You can detail your components like this person has detailed this his windows and all other facade elements, and then it can be brought back into Revit for detailed design, because Revit will be used for getting the quantities of the building components. It will also used for developing working drawings and presentation drawings for that matter. So drawing creation can be done here. As you may notice here, we just opened material browser, and under material browser, FormIt materials are also available. So whatever materials are applied there are also available in Revit. You can make changes even in FormIt, and since it's a FormIt session, that is why we are making changes in FormIt again. But you may also make changes in Revit directly, and whatever changes you are making in Revit will also reflect back in FormIt. So it's a to and fro, kind of support. So interoperability is quite well in that case. Right, so this is one sample project from Autodesk. This is another example where we took this example. This is another sample project from Autodesk itself. So in this project, we try to develop interior design by using FormIt. Although Revit has the capability of delivering good interior projects, but still, if anybody wants to use FormIt modeling ease, because it is easy in FormIt to sometimes develop the shapes. So it depends. So now this much of portion has been cropped in Revit. And after cropping this portion in Revit, you can just select this portion and can export that into FormIt. So this is also doable. So rather than pushing the entire geometry, you can also select a room or a selected geometry and can be pushed back into FormIt. So now this portion has been pushed back, and now reception table has been developed here. So it is quite easy in that sense. As you may notice here, modeling is quite easy, and it has been extended further. A curvature has been added now, and then materials will be added further, right? Okay, a support and then materials. So after addition of the material, ceiling components are being added in FormIt, and whatever is done here will be reflecting back in Revit as well. And all of these components are modifiable, even in both softwares. You can modify them in Revit or in FormIt as well. So it's quite, interoperability is good. Now it is pushing it back to Revit. And as you may notice, components are available in Revit. And in Revit, you can also, get the material based quantity. So material has been added already in FormIt. That is, marble has been added there. In ceiling, some wooden finish has been added. If you need to get quantities out of it, Revit is good enough for getting the quantities. So if anybody is not very much comfortable in modeling in Revit, then they may also take help from FormIt and can push their models into Revit. Then quantities, working drawings, sections, details can be figured out in Revit as well. Right, so this is one example from this was one example from the interior project. So I think I'll also ask Mr. Munith to take the session forward again to talk about the design coordination part of the FormIt.
Okay, so we are going to come to the next part. Yeah. So let me come to share my screen. So right now, just coming back to the slide for the.
So design collaboration can be done here, and also visualization. That part, sir, you can take, and then I'll discuss about the Dynamo.
Okay, right. So now as we have understood about that collaboration has been very much needed, and the collaboration means nothing but the different person and different stakeholders or the consultants are going to be work together, right? And you know that when we are working together, there's a lot of confusion and there is a lot of quick chaos, right? But how we are going to reduce it, it depends upon what technology you are using. So over here we are having a design collaboration when you are working within a Revit team as well as you are working with a FormIt. So the materials you are going to get over here directly, whatever you have placed inside a FormIt, so that materials directly comes into a Revit, so that whatever the effort the FormIt guy have done, it's going to be helpful for the another guy who's working on side a Revit, right? So you can utilize the materials, you can utilize the mass family as well. You can apply the walls, probably if you are having a floors, roof, or any kind of a FormIt faces, it's going to become. And with the latest software, you can send it the same model, whatever you have been into a Revit, you can directly interoperate to your FormIt as well. So by side, FormIt is also going to open and the Revit is also going to open. And you can change whatever the changes you would like to go for the FormIt part, right, through a designer. Even though when we talk about a real-time visualization, it will be a most headache part for the visualization or probably for an architect. Why I'm saying this? Because when you are going to talk about a visualization things, right, there's a lot of softwares, there's a lot of technologies, there's a lot of investment an architect should do, right, for making a high realistic rendering. You may have encountered with the topmost softwares like a Lumion, right? But Lumion is going to be have a really trending based technology. But what if we are going to get here a real-time visualization from whichever the client is going to be happy? So whatever the material, like I said, it's going to be helpful for the FormIt as well as the Revit. In terms, if half work has been, let's say 30% of the work has been done by a FormIt guy, it will going to be reutilized by a Revit architect or a Revit designer. He can utilize 30 to, means he needs to start from a 30, right? He's not going to be start from the day one. He's going to invest after 30. So you need to know that a FormIt person's whatever he has done throughout the number of days, the person who is working within a Revit team, he is going to be take that note, take that legacy and start working after 30 days, right? Means the 30th date of or 38 hours of, right? So the work is going to be utilized through the materials. And more important, when you're going to present the data through a FormIt, it's going to give you the real-time visualization, just like you are watching a one kind of a smooth animations, right? I show you what kind of a smooth animations, right, in terms of the export through a model, right? But I'm just providing you one instant review on this, that you don't need to wait for the rendering part. It's going to be a real time. Nowadays you have seen a lot of softwares are coming into a market which is giving you a real time rendering, not depending upon to wait for a last long for rendering for the small purpose or rendering for the many hours to just get the result, simple result. But right now you can see here a small left corner there, what a brick is showing the rusty look. So you can figure it out that this is a rusty look, and for an architect, for a visualizer, it could be the best part for the conceptual design, right? So I request, sir, for the FormIt Dynamo.
Okay, thank you. So Dynamo, some of you might have already heard about it. It's a computational design tool. What is computational design? So those who are not aware, so basically, when we draw anything in AutoCAD or any CAD-based software, it merely helps us in by providing a digital pencil. So CAD is basically a digital pencil. But we are not utilizing. So if we are drawing, let's say, two lines, and we are mentioning that two lines are represented as wall, or maybe are represented as maybe pipes or ducts, then that needs to be specified by the user. AutoCAD software or any such CAD software will not be able to process that data. It will process it as a line. So if you draw a line in CAD, you select that line, it will show you the properties of the line. But in Revit or any 3D software which supports BIM data, like Revit is one of those softwares. It actually provides the information about the component. So you do not draw two lines there. You actually draw an entire wall or entire pipe or entire duct. You do not need to specify lines here. Lines will be the output for the component. So once you draw on a component, lines will automatically be generated out of it. Drawings will automatically be generated. So that is another level to using the computer's strength. So computer strength is not not in providing the digital pencil, but its strength is in the computation. So computer, as its name suggests, is used for computation, is used for calculations, right? So if we, for example, somehow integrate programming with the software, such as maybe BIM software like Revit, or maybe you might have already heard about Rhino and Grasshopper combination. So Grasshopper, what is Grasshopper for Rhino? That is Dynamo for Revit and FormIt as well. So here we have, I think we have taken some example where there are some predefined scripts are already available in within Dynamo interface. So within Dynamo, just a minute, yeah. Just a minute, yeah. So this is one of the examples where predefined scripts are being used. So once you go to the interface of this FormIt, on the right hand side you'll find Dynamo support, and you can just use some predefined scripts. If you're yourself is familiar with basic programming, maybe be it visual programming or maybe by the way, it supports Python. So if you know Python well, then you can also maybe create your own programs. So I'll show you one live example also where we try to develop program in Dynamo, and then we can just simply push that in FormIt, and then can be used for detailed design. So in this particular case, it is one of the predefined script which this person is running, and some parameters can be modified along the way, right? So I think let me share my FormIt screen. Just a minute. So this is the FormIt screen. I think you can see that. So I'm just showing you some live elements. So you can obviously take up sketches by your own, can draw a few things. I think Munisar can, show these parts better. But the idea is you can just push and pull the elements and can draw anything. Rather than drawing it manually, you can also take help of Dynamo scripts. So on the right hand side, you have different tabs which are given here, or you can call them panels as well. So this is a properties palette. This is a materials palette. This one is layers palette, levels palette. So so you can just explore different palettes. One of the palettes is actually dedicated to the Dynamo, where you have some predefined scripts, as you may notice. So this script actually helps you, like sir was mentioning, to array components on a path. So that will be lighter to use. Or otherwise, like I'll just take up the stairs component. I'll click here, and it will create a stairs component. Sorry, there's a scale issue. Anyways, so in this case, stairs are automatically created. So if someone has to model this stairs in Dynamo or in Revit, it takes a while to figure it out. But by using the script, it automatically created the stairs. What you can do, you can just maybe control it by some features, such as you can just remove the top landing. You can also remove the mid landing if not required. Although if I, for example, remove the mid landing, it will run the script again. They're starting the Dynamo information, and it'll automatically change the mid landing. Yeah, so as you may notice, now it's a straight staircase without the landing. If I add mid landing and then run the script again, so it is running script in background, right? Similarly, you can also control, so it is working in feet and inches. If you change the units from here, from its, properties. So from the settings, it will take inputs in meters or whatever is required. So 14 feet floor to floor height has been taken. For example, I'm designing it for let's say 10 feet only. That is 3 meters, right? So if I turn it into 3 feet, and it will automatically, and my stair width is 6 inches, stair height is 6 inches, stair width is 6 feet. So let's say I'll just go for 8 feet stairs. I'll just change it to suppose it's a public staircase, 6 inches is the height, tread depth is 1 foot. I think it is fine, and there's no overlap in the treads, and I think everything is fine. I can just make changes and run the script again. And as you may notice, for 10 feet it is created, but for some reason I think this mid landing might be readjusted. for example, I would like to place mid landing somewhere in between. I can also control the height of the mid landing. That is at 7 feet in this case, so that it provides the headroom. But for example, I'm not concerned about the headroom. I can just keep it not at 6 feet, but let's say 4 feet, for example. Sorry, mid landing 4 feet. So whatever changes you are doing, those are actually being automatically considered. So it is working like a plugin now. Right? So I hope you got the idea. So now further, if you are familiar with the programming and interested in programming also, you can just simply edit the embedded graph. So if I click on edit embedded graph, it opens in Dynamo. This is the Dynamo interface. It is opening. So this is the launch screen for Dynamo. And you can make changes there as well. So I'll launch the Dynamo. So obviously, those who are not familiar with any kind of visual programming, it's easy, although. So they need it. It'll take a while. Just a minute. It is opening. Yeah. So for those who are not familiar with the programming, they need to learn it. But yes, once it is learned, it is quite easy to execute. Right. So this is that program which is being run here. So similarly, I also created one program. I'm just removing these stairs thing. Okay. I'm just removing the stairs. And it has already converted into a component, as you may noted. You cannot select individual components. It is converted into a component thing. So anyways, I'll just zoom out. And now, for example, if I need to create some wavy shape, so obviously straight components can, like linear components can easily be created directly into FormIt, like blocking can easily be done. But suppose if you have a wavy shape in your roofs, for example, you have a wavy shape roof, like parametric roof, something like that. So in that case, you can take help of Dynamo also. So let me launch Dynamo. If you need to, do not want to use these scripts, you can just simply launch Dynamo from here. I'll just launch a new Dynamo script. It'll open the last use scripts mostly. So I think one script will automatically open. So it is opening. Yeah. So this is the interface for Dynamo. Anyways, I'll just close this script. It was actually not saved earlier, so it's one of the unsaved changes. Anyways, it automatically shows you whatever is not saved earlier. So I was trying something else. I'll just delete that. Anyways, so Dynamo, as you may notice, can be new script can be started, and you can just navigate through this library and can get different geometries, and those will reflect back in FormIt. Now time is less, so that is why I'll just take up one of the predefined script. This was created by our team actually. So this is for developing wavy shapes, adaptive surfaces, and I think you'll be requiring to create roofs and all in railway station projects. So then you can take help of such scripts. So I have taken one a roof structure, and I'm not connecting it for now. I'll just run this script, and in the background in Dynamo itself, a roof shape has been created, right? And once a roof shape is created, for example, so this roof can be created out of two types of components. Either you can create it as a monolithic structure. If it's a monolithic structure, it can be achieved by using concrete or something. If it is a concrete structure, I'll just connect the surface directly. So surface has been created here. I can just, I'll just make few changes here. They can. I'll just give some thickness to the surface. If I directly connect it here, for example, and run this script again, in my background, you may notice, I'll just zoom to fit. Okay, it is still running, I believe. Okay, I'll run this script. Did I connect the correct node, right? Yeah, it has created the surface. What are the units? It is fit in inches. Just a minute, I think something went wrong. Let me close the Dynamo. And yeah, there's some warning. Yeah, I'll just open a new sketch rather. I'm not saving it. And that's again launching Dynamo here. capital inches was taken in that case. Yes. Just allow me a minute. Okay, I'll just not work on this script now. So I'll open that adaptive surface script again. And let us try. So that surface has been created inside Dynamo, but if you need to take it into FormIt as well, you just need to reconnect it. I'll just run the script. Anyways, it is created here. It's true, it is saved as mesh. For some reason, I'm not able to bring it into Dynamo. Anyways, sometimes it happens. Anyways, I'll improve my script, no issues. But if I connect this solid geometry to it, I think it can work. That the staircase script was working, but it is not working. No issues. But the idea is, if I let me change the imperial units to inches. Sometimes it also make issues in inches. 30 by 5 by 5, for example. No issues. So anyways, obviously need to improve the script here, but yes, that component has been created in Dynamo. You can just translate that into FormIt, and whatever changes we'll make, that will be updated there. So I just added some frame as well, and it can be converted to send to FormIt. So it is somehow this node was not working. But yes, earlier I tested it was working, but no issues. There are some issues here. I'll just remove these warning, then it'll work. So the idea is, either if you have hands-on experience on working on a script, then you can also create your scripts then and there, and it'll give you the result. And if, for example, you need to use the predefined data which was provided by Autodesk, you can just simply go to uh, uh, this section of Dynamo and can use some of the predefined script, like I already showed you that stairs script. Similarly, ramps can be created, grids, columns, and this can be easily created. Like this is a grid for columns, and you can just maybe change the embedded data here. Right. So I hope you got the idea. That FormIt also works along with earlier there was no support of Dynamo, but now Dynamo support is also available, and you can maybe push your creativity to another level if you learn Dynamo well as well, and you can also get good results for the competition. Anyways, I think I can now ask Sir to discuss about the analysis part of it. So you can run energy analysis here as well, like solar analysis, or solar radiation analysis, or maybe other insight related analysis. So for Munish Sir, I would request you to take up that session, and energy analysis can be shown by Munish Sir. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. So right away, I'm just sharing the screen. So basically, like what we have learned so far, when it comes to the analysis part. Yeah. So from here, like once you develop the model, right? After developing a model, you run with the solar analysis. After solar analysis, you are going to have here a energy analysis. Energy analysis, like I said, there's a special plugin for analysis, right? There's a heliomorphic plugin, which is going to be defined with the mode and the interval of the hour, even though for the month as well. We are having a 12 months. So according to it, if we are going to have an additional, like I said, that there's an additional plugins always required for the software, but FormIt are having a independency of its product. So basics analysis can done by own. So now you can see that whatever the plugin, it can help you out. You can install it very quickly, even though there is a site data according to the north condition is going to be given you the according to the material. Even though if you wanted to set analysis for the time range, it can do a like brief introduction for what and why you are going to portray your design, right? After creating those analysis according to the images, you can export it and put it into the presentation, how the things are going to be work if you change your design, right? So you are going to better with whatever the analysis you will get here are three analysis. One is a solar analysis, another is a itself as a energy analysis. Even though if you are wanted to inhale with the new things for the detail analysis, so you can do for the there is a plugin Morphic, you are going to introduce with that, and you can get it out whatever the results, right? You have provided with the data. Now let's talk about here of performances. Now you have understood about so well within the term, within the field, that the performance does matter. Even though performance matters for your incentive, even you are going to performance for your product modeling, even means everywhere the performance is going to maintain. So what about the software? You know, there's a lot of situations are going to be catering into this productivity, where we are going to portray that this is what we have introduced with the FormIt and the Revit and the Dynamo and the visualization part. How much performance is going to be given back to us? Now, if I comes with a FormIt, once you are going to be introduced with a FormIt, there's a lot of things you have encountered with it. One is a navigation, there's a group operation, there's a selection, pre-selection, there's a creating and editing, right? All those tools are going to be faster. Why? Because the performance is going to be talk about the fastness. The more amount of a fastness you are going to be work around, the more productivity you are going to showcase to your the senior management. Once you are going to be understand the other tools which you are using it for long, right? How you are going to comparison that product with the FormIt. See, with your navigation part, with your group selection part, many times you have seen that while editing with the groups, the model is going to be hang it around. But when you are going to encounter with the FormIt, you are not going to be feel that so. Now, if you're having a certain kind of a format file size, let's say I have given here on the left hand side model 1 to model 5. If you're starting with the 0.25, what is the performance improvement? Means 10 times it's going to be increase. If you're going to have a 230 MB model size, right? So it's going to be take your time 152 seconds. 152 seconds means it's going to be imported through the CAD or exported to the CAD, right? The performances are going to be taken out through the interoperability. Once you are going to do the task from one software to another software, how much time it is going to take it around to compile up your work very quickly, right? Are you going to wait for a couple of a fraction of a second or many of a minutes, right? So if you're sitting at around and nothing to do with your software, right? So you're going to be feel that the software is not working properly. Either you're going to think that the system is not working properly, right? So over here you found that it has been on the Autodesk side, right? This is what the performance improvement, right? So it means that they have already do the lot of analysis over it, how the software are going to be react when it going to comes with the interoperability with the other formats. Now, format Autodesk docs. See, it is a very essential part. Nowadays, I told you that in the ecosystem, we'll have here a lot of projects to share with the team, right? When we are going to do it with the Autodesk Construction Cloud, and the rest of the project information are going to be drop it down through the drives. But over here in the ecosystem of Autodesk ACC, right, you can share your model and you can share the information which is going to be accessible by a whole team from any location. If you're sitting in the Hyderabad, if you're sitting in the Mumbai, if you're sitting in the Gujarat, right? So everywhere you can desire that you can get that fetch your informations from the respective consultant, even though it is not worthy, right? Sometimes you wanted to do a model itself, right? So if somebody want that Hyderabad team person want that I wanted to have some design changes in the model, well I able to do it or not. So you can make those design iteration. You can see there's a lot of issues. You can mark it over here, that material check, there's a road plane, there's a satellite, there's a affecting the flow plates, right? So you can give in your feedbacks, you can give in here issues marked over here who have been associated with this product, right, or this model or this project, right? You can give in those issues to a assigned person that change this part, right? You wanted to see the interior position, you wanted to see some of the landscaping element, right? So you can directly see from the web server, right? So that will be a ACC. So ACC will help you around to sharing your data, working in the collaboration, so that the other person are going to be helpful when he is operating a one model. He doesn't need any kind of a sending a emails, right? You can directly open your portal right over here, and you can directly access your model. Once you access with the model, you can get a lot of things over here to change your design, to discuss that with the team, right? Now, coming over here with the last things like a customer example, we have made here a very big image that what FormIt can do. I know that most of the person who have been in this presentation, they know that the FormIt is what is all about. But normally people are having a one myth that whatever the thing we are deliberating to you, is it that so, or is having a little bit downward or probably upgrade, right? So let me show you some of the examples what the throughout the world people are using through a FormIt. See, this is the one of example, right? In a FormIt fluid 3D sketching, you can create here a lot of environment, lot of a complexity as needed. You can see the real-time design over here. And this is not what I am going to do it or somebody go do it inside a Photoshop. This is the live example. You can go and search in the Autodesk, right? People are using a lot of Autodesk FormIt, right? So FormIt has been now a new technology. People are using it. So the persons like white architects, right? So white architects have been utilized throughout their office in the Northern Europe, even though in Sweden, people are using a FormIt and they are building a design within a FormIt, right? They come up with a one of a code that I thought it was a really fun to use. And even though they have enjoyed it, and they also talk about the interoperability, right? Interoperability over here connects with the Revit, right? Because Revit does support the BIM. Okay, then they have come up with the one of the prestigious firm, which is called as the Array Architects. They are also using a FormIt, right? They have done the lot of wind analysis, there's energy analysis, there's a solar studies, even though they are practicing with it, and they are focusing on their architecture as well as a facade work. So they have come up with the same project with the facade part. So facade, they wanted to do a lot of changes, like the Shoaib sir have explained you how the Dynamo is going to be interoperable with the Revit. So similarly, Dynamo is also interoperable with the FormIt, right? You can see the changes. What if you wanted to do with the first option? What if you want to go with the second option? So these are the changes you can only do with the Dynamo thing, right? Because these are the situation based program. Now situation based program is you are going to be having a dicey, right? Or either you go with the first option or either you go with the second option. There is no kind of analysis you wanted to do for the first option, second option. You wanted to see the result. When you wanted to see a result, definitely you required a algorithm. Now FormIt converted to a Revit. So even though you can see there's a reverse arrow clockwise and anti-clockwise, you can interoperate with the Revit model as well as a FormIt model. Right now, people are going to talk about here investment areas. Right before coming to investment areas, I'll show you something which I have made inside of FormIt. So let me come to. I hope that my screen has been visible for the FormIt. Right. So I have.
Visible, sir.
Yeah.
FormIt screen visible.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So right now I have come up with the scene exploration. So right now I have created here one kind of animation, and there's all scene. Let me play this one. So there's a lot of changes have been still pending over here, but see, it's been good to work it around in the FormIt and see what kind of changes you are going to encounter with the other team, right? So you can find that the real-time kind of colors, you can switch it into a monochrome. You can do here a lot of modeling over here, even though you can apply a lot of materials, and you wonder that those materials are going to be helpful when you are importing the same model into a Revit, right? So that will be the biggest part. So comings to the view angle, comings to your detailing part, right? Everything has been done into a format. Sometimes I found that people used to say that whether we are going to have a lot of libraries or not. See, whatever the extensive library you are having with the Revit, whatever the extensive library you are working with the SketchUp, those are going to be come over here very easily, right? You can take your models, you can take your libraries, you can take your furniture, everything you can conclude over here, right? There is no restriction over here. I have come up with a lot of examples where people used to say that this library has not been attached to this software. Why it is so? What is the alternative? It, but Autodesk is a one kind of a product which is really good inside of interoperability. Right. So let me comes to over here, only a scene one or exterior one. Okay, so coming back to my PPT. Yeah. So there is a part of investment areas. Now, investment areas has been like people are going to think about whether I have to invest my time into a format or not. See, I'll giving you here a 3 benefits, right? 3 important benefits where you are going to definitely think over it to start a format. The first one is a workflow, right? See, Autodesk have generated a one thread line software, which is nowadays have been really popular. If you're working with the management, if you're working with a long collaboration part, right, definitely you require to have a format because it will be a widely used software for a conceptual. Then second is an analysis. You can't start with the conceptual directly inside a Revit. Well, it is not a recommendation, right? I'm not saying that you can't start, but I'm saying like, what is the use if you're using a conceptual design inside a Revit, right? Revit is going to be built for the whole detailing process and the construction modeling and the construction detailing part, right? You can start with the conceptual things over there. There is no harm in it. But what if you are going to utilize a conceptual inside a format? Right, you know, there are specific persons who are going to be targeted for the specific task, right? So format is going to be specifically for the conceptual modeling. Why we are not using a format for a conceptual model? That is my concern. See, you can do a conceptualize, you can do an analysis, you can do a compute, you can do everything. And another factor over here is like when you are working with a Revit with a conceptual design, while running with the conceptual design, while running with the task, there's a lot of a library inside of it, right? So first, the second party or the Autodesk party, when you're going to be run with the analysis, they are going to understand the whole model, understand the whole library, right? So similarly, in a format, there is no extra additional library. You are going to talk about only the surfaces. You are going to talk about only the model, right? So that's why format model are going to be quicker when it comes to analysis. The third thing is a collaborate. Like, you know that the India is a developing country. It's going to be have a lot of projects are going to be run over here in the upcoming future. Since we know that there's a lot of investments are going to become throughout the market. Definitely, this is the right time. This is the right area where you are going to enhance your skills from the scratch. So scratch is something like a format, right? So we support an architect by combining the intelligent automations like Shoaib sir have explained you about a Dynamo and informed analysis with the fluid 3D sketching. One of the query I have encountered within a chat that somebody is asking that is the 3D sketches also going to be converted into a 3D? See, perhaps when you are talking about a sketch to a 3D, it won't be possible, but sketch can be imported inside a format and you can extrude that areas and with the lines and the polylines, and after that you can create it. Right now, I haven't been into some technology where the sketch is going to be converted into a 3D, but we have to wait for the future. Of course, in the future, definitely going to become with the AI technology. So thank you so much on the behalf of Capri Record Technologies. I would request to Shoaib sir if they wanted to share some views.
Yeah, most of the questions are being answered also. So there were questions about the rendering. So rendering can be done through Twinmotion as well. Now FormIt and Revit both supports Twinmotion, and it comes with the license of Revit and FormIt Pro version of FormIt. Otherwise, FormIt can also be used as a free version. Those who wants to explore FormIt for now, they can go for FormIt web version. So they can just write down FormIt web online, and then they can just log into Autodesk ID, and you'll get FormIt for free. But Dynamo support will not be there, and energy analysis support will not be there. You can just develop, forms there. And if you get the desktop version, you can go for the pro version. It also supports Twinmotion, Dynamo, and this energy analysis. Furthermore, I think most of the questions are answered. There was one question about the furniture and library of the if online library is available. So Revit components, which are so those who know Revit well, they already understand that there are components in Revit which are work plane based. So if components are, let's say, host based, such as wall based components or floor based components or ceiling based component, those will not be compatible with FormIt. If components are not host based, such as furniture or trees or street lights, those are not based on any other host, then without host, you can place components in FormIt. So you can bring Revit components into FormIt as well. Another way of bringing FormIt, so I've written down in chat box also, you can just take up this link for FormIt library. So you can download FormIt library online. You can just write down FormIt library Autodesk or Autodesk FormIt library. It will give you a link, and you can just download library from there. Furthermore, if you are having SketchUp models, or if you intend to get models from 3D warehouse, those are also supported directly in FormIt. So you can just download models from 3D warehouse as well, and can push it into FormIt. So you can just open that directly into FormIt. It will open in FormIt as well. So I think that was all from our side. And if you have further questions, you can maybe and FormIt, like someone has also asked about the price of the FormIt, license cost. The license cost ke liye you can just maybe contact our sales team. We are from the technical team. Further, I can mention that FormIt comes along a bundle that is called AEC collection. So where you get FormIt, Revit, AutoCAD, and bunch of softwares which supports your AEC. The intention is to support AEC industry, architecture, engineering, and construction industry. So FormIt is a part of that. So for example, if architecture design firms are investing in SketchUp, let's say, they do not need to actually buy SketchUp license separately, because FormIt can be used as a part of AEC collection. So if you need to know more about the licenses cost, you can just contact our sales team. So okay, so I think we can close the session. Okay, thank you so much. You have been a patient audience, and I hope it would be a useful session for everyone. And we'll take a leave now. Thank you so much. Thank you, Munis sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sure. Bye, everyone.